What happened, George? What is it?
I wish you'd please learn to mind your own business.
Johnny, every now and then the Ask Johnny channel comes up with a bloody show that highlights some subjects or worthy information that people may not be hearing on mainstream news. Now, what have you got for us today? Oh yes, Johnny, there's a lot of things happening out there that the mainstream media just doesn't want you to know. Yeah? Well, how about this one, Johnny? The US taxpayers pay all the salaries and wages for everyone who works for the Ukrainian government. Paying the salaries? Yeah, now I don't know, Johnny, whether people are aware of that. Johnny, do you mean to say that the US taxpayers, they're paying the wages of all the fucking government employees of the Ukrainian government? A lot of people wouldn't know that. But good old Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is a bloody champion. Jimmy, he bloody dug around and he came up with this.
So here is Samantha Power, and she's going to tell you where now she's been involved in all our horrible shit overseas and all our coups and all our things, and that's who she is. And she works for the military-industrial complex, overthrowing governments. And so she's going to tell us where the last $15 billion America spent overseas. Ready?
I don't know if we could have gotten that money out of Congress if not for DIA. Because what DIA allows us to do is that direct budget support goes, yes, to the Ukrainian government, but then it goes to pay teachers, to pay healthcare workers, to pay first responders, and there's a digital trail. It's not.
So $15 billion.
Oh, what? So let me get this straight. The US taxpayers are paying the salaries of all the government employees in the Ukraine? How many US citizens actually know that?
$15 billion.
But Johnny, there's bloody homeless people in the US. Surely they get bloody precedence over the bloody...
You could end homelessness in America for around $20 billion. $15 billion.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no way they can fix it.
As Jimmy says, that sort of money could give everyone in the US a college education. It could solve bloody homelessness in the US.
What? So here's what Mac Blumenthal says. He says, so there it is, in the words of Samantha Power, Americans are paying billions to cover the salaries of Ukrainian public workers through an experimental and clearly predatory app built by Google and Visa under the watch of USAID.
So we control their individual salaries?
Yes!
Wow.
You think? And then Matthew Kiesler says, LOL, yeah, USAID Director Samantha Power says U.S. Congress gave $15 billion, in a sense, cash to the Ukrainian government, which is enough to pay all Ukrainian government employees for 2 years.
2 years?
For 2 years.
Johnny, why don't they use the army then in the US to build, rather than going around the world killing people? The army could set about building, say, fucking 200 million fucking houses so that everyone in the US can have a house.
Oh my fucking God!
Oh, Jesus Christ, Johnny. Yeah, why wouldn't mainstream media let everybody know in the US and around the world that that's what the aid package is, part of it, is paying for? The US taxpayers are paying the... I know why they haven't, because it'd be fucking shithouse publicity for their bloody whole effort of all the government employees in the... I think a lot of US citizens would be bloody flabbergasted and outraged.